Hello, welcome back to another episode of Litigation Speaks. Today I want to talk to you about industry analysis. I want to talk to you specifically about the threats of new entrants. When you look at Revenue Ruling 5960, which are the rules for doing a business valuation, it says, and I quote, the things we're supposed to look at, and I quote, the economic outlook in general and the condition and outlook of the specific industry in particular. So we want to look and see what's happening within a particular industry. Now, there's a man named Dr. Michael Porter has written the gold standard for how we do, or we should do, industry analysis. There are 5 forces of the industry where he talks about 5 specific things on how you analyze the industry. And one of those is the threats of new entrants. And that's what I want to talk about today. When we look at the threats of new entrants, well, let me back up and make a comment here first. When we do a business valuation, we subscribe to a number of different data sources that we can use. And they talk about industry analysis. And that's a 30,000 foot level. Here's what's happening with the particular industry. But we need to know what's happening with this particular company in relationship to the industry. Because just because the industry is doing X, what is my company that I'm valuing? What are they doing? How are they impacted, for example, on the fact that we got new entrants coming in, new competitors coming in? Everybody's got new competitors coming in. How does that impact my specific company? And that's what we should be looking for, and that's what Michael Porter talks about doing. So in my opinion, this should be done on every valuation. That's the way we do ours. We have questionnaires we send to clients and ask them about how the new entrants are impacting the industry that they're working in. When we have new competitors coming in, what they do is they disrupt the existing market that's there. So when they disrupt that market, what happens to my specific company that I'm trying to value? Is it going to lower the market share? Is it going to obviously have more increased competition? Are they going to lower the prices to get into the market? All those have an impact on the future profitability of the company. That's where these surveys, the studies that are done, do not address that. We need to address that as valuation experts. So that new entrant has an impact on our discounted cash flow that we're going to be doing. So that needs to be considered individually. And why should the attorney care about what happens with the new entrants in a different industry? Well, the attorney, a lot like me as a CPA, we have competitors entering the market all the time. Well, how are they going to impact our referral base? So we need to understand how those new entrants are going to impact these specific companies. And again, what's the profitability going to be? How is it going to impact the profitability? How long will it impact the profitability? So those are the items that we need to take a look at. And when I talk about the new entrants, this is one of the 5 items that are there. So what we're going to be talking about today is not all-inclusive. Let me give you an example of the electric car vehicle industry. Everybody knows that there's a push right now for you and me to buy an electric car. Now, whether you do or not, it's up to you, and I've got no opinion on how you're going to do that. But if I'm going to have a competitor come in that's doing electrical versions of these vehicles that are out there, some of the things that we need to consider is the increased environmental concerns, the government regulations that are out there. Are we going to have cleaner energy, not have cleaner energy? There's an argument about that we need to use fossil fuels to generate some of the items to actually run the electric piece of this. So how does all that fit together? And these items may actually limit the number of new entrants that come into the market. If there's a void out there, it'll be picked up by somebody. So in order to get into the electrical vehicle market, there's a high capital requirement. And the high capital requirement means there's a lot of money that's got to be spent for development, product facilities, and marketing. So somebody has to do that. Now, if I'm already in the industry, how does their marketing impact what I'm doing? How does their new technology impact what I'm doing? So if they can do it better and faster, i.e. build a better mousetrap, then I may wind up being more expensive and it may be cheaper for you to go to this newer product. And that's what I need to know, is what's going to be the impact of that, so I can factor that into my forecast and to the value that we're going to be doing. This thing called economies of scale. This requires this economies of scale, making it difficult for new entrants to compete and establish with existing players. Economies of scale. I've got items in place, a chain of products coming to me to manufacture a product. How easy is it for somebody new in the market to develop that? Can they disrupt part of my chain, which impacts my value of the company I'm working on? Excuse me. We have brand loyalty. I'm a Ford fan. I'm a Chevrolet fan. I'm a Toyota fan. It makes no difference what kind of a fan you are. But if you like that particular brand, you've got brand loyalty. So now, for example, I know Tesla's out there. Chevrolet's got some electric cars. If I'm a Ford guy, am I willing to change? Am I only going to go to the Ford new vehicles that are coming out as electric vehicles, or am I going to go to an outsider that has nothing to do with the standard recognized automobile dealers here in the U.S.? The established people have established distribution networks. How do I actually sell my product? Who do I sell it to? If I'm a new entrant, I have to develop that, so I could disrupt that chain. Again, how does that impact my future value that's out there? The electric cars are subject to government regulations. Actually, I think almost everything is subject to government regulations. So how do those government regulations impact what it is that the market share has to contend with? So we need to take a look at that and have some understanding of what's happening. So the electric car industry is a rapidly growing industry. It's going to attract a lot of new entrants, and we're just at the beginning stages of this. So as the electric cars attract new entrants, they're going to disrupt all the chains that have to deal with a particular industry. And that's what we need to know when we're valuing a company. What is the impact of people coming into the industry? How are they going to impact the profitability of my existing company? And how am I going to project that? What factors do I need to take into consideration for that? Well, thank you for tuning in today. Follow me on LinkedIn at Richard Claywell. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, drop me a LinkedIn post, send me an email, give me a call. We'll see you next time. We're going to talk about some of the other forces of industry developed by Michael Porter. Thank you again. Appreciate it.